I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports Network and the host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. And you're watching Military Broadcast Radio's Turnbuckle and Stogies, a fun show that covers wrestling and cigar, and it works every Sunday at 11 a.m. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, we've never had that.
Go back in.
There's still men out there. God damn. When I go home, people ask me, "Hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Why? You some kind of war junkie?" I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Turnbuckles and Stogies. Yo, what is up? What is up, yo? Happy Sunday. Another Sunday with your favorite hostess with the mostest.
My dad, I'm doing a wrestling punch. I love wrestling. Hey.
We are Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod, your hostess with the mostest, the big dog, the vanilla gorilla, and ladies and gentlemen, today, yo, y'all ready for this? Because I don't think they're ready for this, Joe.
I don't know. It might not be. Cigar Dudes Podcast.
Yo, what is up? Happy Sunday, happy fun day. So don't forget, what is today? Today is your favorite podcast, Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod. I am your host with the most, the big dog, the vanilla gorilla. And guess what today is? Today is the first week of NFL football. Yeah, go Giants, baby. That's right, NFL football, Giants versus Minnesota, 1 o'clock on Fox. Make sure you check it out. So we're going to talk about a few things here today. We're going to talk about some wrestling. Did anybody see wrestling last night?
I did.
Because I know I did. And I don't stay up late. And I actually stayed up late and went to work at 3 o'clock this morning and doing the podcast and going to watch football. I got a very busy day today. So as you can see, I'm a little wound up because I got about 2 hours sleep, not even, maybe an hour and a half. So let's talk about AEW. So let's talk about.
I mean, they started off pay-per-view strong.
Let's talk about. I got to talk about my man.
Started off strong with Max and Daniel Garcia.
Yes. That
match went probably 45-ish minutes, if I'm correct.
45 minutes, and Daniel became.
The thing is, and a lot of people are gonna say no, and it is what it is. You can hate him, love him.
And Daniel became who again?
Well, no,
the Red Rover.
He didn't become anything. He went back to his original moniker of what got him signed, which was his Red Death moniker.
Yes.
That's what he was.
Yep. Sure was.
It was his Red Death moniker that he went back to.
So that was
and what that match did, and people can hate him, people can love the company. What they did with every match last night, where most of the matches told a story.
And a lot of places don't do stories. Like when Vince was running WWE, it wasn't stories. It was just guys coming out wrestling.
It was stories, but it wasn't the way it should have been.
But now Tony Khan is letting these guys be their self. Tony Khan is letting the inmates run the asylum per se. And when I say run the asylum, I don't mean take over the whole thing, but he's letting them be their characters. That's what he's not
stepped back.
Correct. He stepped back, and now he has a creative team, and the creative team consists of Moxley,
it's Danielson, I think the Bucks, Tony. There's like 27 or 28 different people in that creative room at all times.
But they're letting them be themselves. And that's what AEW is going to be around. And just so everybody knows, rumor has it that they're leaving TBS and TNT.
No,
they're not. They're getting a new contract, just so you know. So don't listen to the rumors and don't listen to these sheets. Don't listen to Dave Metzler.
well,
Dave Metzler is.
So he says there is stuff that he says that is right.
I've been following Dave Metzler when he used to send out the folded up paper.
A lot of his stuff is over exaggerated. Just like, you know, a lot of the sheets, like Sean Ross Sapp and those guys, a lot of their stuff is over exaggerated, overplayed. But I mean, that pay per view, you can't really.
That pay per view was on the money last night,
and I did watch the ending of that match.
Let's not get to that match yet.
But what I'm saying is that ending, the ending of that match made perfect sense.
Yes. So let's get back to
it, but that made perfect sense.
Let's get back to the MJF match. So that match was totally awesome. I mean, they did some.
Pulled out all the stops.
They pulled out all the high spots.
But they didn't use. See what they didn't do, and a lot of those matches didn't do. Even the tag match with the Bucks and Claudio and Yuta, they didn't use high spots for the sake of using high spots. I think that phase is kind of
gone.
Not gone, but they know how to.
Right.
They're letting, because it's not just a high spot fest. They're telling the story. They're using them where it makes sense.
Correct. So I got to say, MJF and Daniel, congratulations. Great job. Keep it going, fellas. You guys blew the roof off the house.
Just the opening match.
And that was just the opening match. Then you had the tag team. You had
the next match.
Yep.
The tag match.
The tag team was the Guns.
No, that was on the pre-show.
Yeah, that was the pre-show.
No, I'll pull up I believe it was them, and then I believe it was the tag match.
Yes, the tag. That's what I'm saying.
But it was the Bucks.
The Bucks and what's his name?
The Bucks versus Claudio and Yuta.
Yes. And that was an awesome match. They did their thing, and yes, EVPs are still the tag team champs. We're just gonna run through this, guys, because we want to really get to our.
Yeah, it was the Bucks and the BCC. That was a hell of a match too. That match was really good.
And then I do gotta say,
and Max and Daniel actually only went just shy of 24 minutes, and that was just to kick off the show.
So then you had Statlander and who was it?
You had Ospreay and Pac.
Ospreay and Pac.
If you had the opportunity to
go
watch that match was, I mean,
that was an awesome match.
Do I think Meltzer's going to give it 5 stars? No, because it's not in the fucking Tokyo Dome and it's not main eventing New Japan.
Right.
But that's beside.
But I do got to say that they gave a great match. That was awesome. A lot of high flying, and when I say high, I don't mean like jumping all over, jumping this.
That's what those guys.
There was a lot of high flying. There was a lot of grappling. There was a lot of.
Well, remember
chain. There was, as we call it in the business,
chain wrestling.
There was a lot of chain wrestling.
Because they come from that.
So
England independent scene, which is where all of that chain wrestling originated.
Right. Then you had, who was the next one?
Then you had the Chicago street fight.
Well, that's one thing I got to talk about because
but see,
to me, a street fight, and I've been in a couple myself, and I'm not talking street like real life, but in a street fight.
That's the thing though, is a street fight. The way you're gonna phrase it, just because it says street fight, doesn't mean it has to start out in the street. That's not how it works.
Most of them, they start out in the locker room, then they come out into the ring.
No, but that's not how it works.
But I do got to give the girls, they didn't pull out, they didn't stop. They pulled out all the stops. But
the only way it starts in the locker room, what you're thinking of starting in the locker room and working to the ring, is a backstage brawl. That's what you're thinking.
And then you had
a street fight starts in the ring and goes out that way.
So Statlander won that Saturday night.
Yeah.
Then you had who's the next one?
That was the 4-way for the Continental.
You had the 4-way for the Continental Championship, which was
Okada, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Konosuke Takeshita.
And for all y'all that don't know, if you look at Takeshita, it says take a shit. Just saying, just putting it out there.
That was another. I mean, this whole card really.
Tony is doing his thing.
What it is now is he's kind of stepped back. He's letting the bookers be the bookers. He's letting the creative guys be the creative, and he's more focused on setting up where they're gonna go, what they're gonna do, who he's booking. He's more worried about the venues now, which is what he should be worried about.
And the next match was
Monet and Sheeta. That was okay.
That was okay. I mean, it was kind of a fall asleep match. There really wasn't a lot of. It could have been better.
The whole problem is they built their women's division up so strong in the beginning
that there's too many.
And now they're bringing them back, but they're not
doing any stories,
integrating them the way they should
right,
be.
Correct.
Like Monet should be, yes, she's the TBS champion. Now she's got Camille, which if they book that right, Camille should be booked like China, where she doesn't move for anybody.
Right. And we talked about that with Bubba.
And then, if they do it correctly, she should eventually take that belt, drop it, and then there's nobody there. She should be able to drop that belt in the next month or two and eventually climb up the rankings to go to the world title, which is Mariah May.
Right. And then after that was
Danielson and Jack Perry.
Which was a very good match.
That went 30 minutes. Nothing on this card.
And then the ending.
Nothing on this card went shorter than on the main card. Nothing went shorter than 15 minutes.
Was the ending a shocker? No, but the way
actually it was. If you think about it.
Yes, because who would have thought that they were going to turn on Danielson?
They went 30 minutes. I mean, they pulled out all the stops. From the start to the finish. The Bucks came out.
And then you
Claudio and Yuta came out to chase them off.
And then you had
and then they kept going through. Brian kicked his head in, and then Jack Perry basically sacrificed himself at the altar as a scapegoat. Lost the match.
And then you had the
Kill Switch came out.
Yes.
To basically set up for Christian to come out and cash in his contract.
Which never happened, by the way.
Because Moxley stood guard.
And when I say stood guard, John didn't flinch.
And then out came Pac, Yuta, Swiss. They all came and stood by the ring. Christian, Nick Wayne,
his mother,
his mom, and
Jack Perry walked out.
Not Jack Perry. Jack Perry didn't walk out with them. And Kill Switch all walked out. Then, they slid in the ring. Big celebration.
John Moxley hugged him, kissed him.
And then Swiss gave him a big hug and hit him with his big uppercut.
And then they put a bag over his head.
Basically,
trying to kill him.
Well, I mean, think about it, though. That club really, the only way out of that club essentially is to fight your way out.
Right.
That's the way that club was built.
Right.
Because you had to fight and basically almost kill yourself to get in the club.
And then who was the next one?
And then that was the lights out match. That was the unsanctioned match with Swerve and Hangman.
And that was, I'm going to tell you, that was a great match. And I love Swerve.
Well, see,
because when Swerve,
a lot of people don't like that match, though.
When Swerve came to,
it was a slow build to storytelling.
Right. And when Swerve came to AEW, he wasn't that big of a star in WWE. He was, but he wasn't. They were kind of abusing him, but letting him go.
On the independent scene, he was a huge star.
I'm saying on the independent scene.
He was actually in Lucha Underground, too.
And then when he came to AEW, they pushed him along with a good friend of ours, Prince Nana. He's a good friend of both of ours. And to my buddy Matty Rocks. Shout out to my brother.
But they, they brought him in, and they kind of let him take the gimmick he had in. Because really, the gimmick he had was really him in general.
It's a true gimmick. He knows all the rap stars. He knows.
He is. Yeah.
He knows everybody.
Yeah.
So the ending to that match was pretty cool because.
But it was poetic because it made sense.
They were putting everything in there. He hit him with the.
You have to remember the lights out unsanctioned match. The only way to win.
Right.
Is basically by knockout.
But the thing was, he hit him with the brick. He Lowered, he
Power
whatchamacallit,
bombed him on the
power
brick.
bombed him on a
Hangman
brick.
got hit with the brick.
Hangman got hit with the brick, the chair, blah, blah, blah. Then you had Hangman who went in his pocket, and this was a pretty cool thing. He went in his pocket and took out a needle.
No, he didn't go in his pocket. He went over to the corner, pulled it out,
and took out the needle, put it in his mouth,
and then basically obliterated
him. And I
head.
mean, obliterated the chair. And I've been hit with chairs and everything else. And the chair broke, and he knocked him out, and that's how they ended the match. So on that note, guys, it's 11:15. We got to pay our bills, and we'll be back with our guest. Thank you for joining us.
Been home about 6 months now, and I still have my doubts. Well, I'm not sure how I got here or how I'm gonna get out. Well, my mama says I look the same as I did before I left. But if she could see inside of me, it would scare her to death. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, got it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Last Saturday they honored us in a small parade downtown. And when they shot off those fireworks, I nearly hit the ground. And while they smiled and cheered for us, all I could do was stare. 'Cause part of me is here at home, but part of me's back there. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, got it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. They taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it on. Yeah, there's no end in sight. 'Cause even though I'm home now, I'm still fighting for my life. Well, I can still taste the powder from the barrel of my gun, and I can hear my sergeant screaming, "Run, soldier, run!" And I can feel the backpack on my shoulders, got it weighed a ton. And I see death in every single thought. Well, they taught me how to put that uniform on. I just can't get it off. Well, the devil's won some battles, and he may win some more. But don't he know the American soldier will always win the war?
Good morning. Welcome back. We are here with Turnbuckles and Stogies. I'm the host with the most, the big dog, the Vanilla Gorilla. And we have our special guest here today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring them in, John and Natalie from Sagrado Cigars. How you guys doing this morning?
Hold on. I don't know why it didn't. Okay, that was weird.
Okay, there we go. We got you. We got
Hi.
you. So I just want to say hello, and I just want to say hello to Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. They said that they're smoking a Breathless this morning.
Yeah, he said he's smoking a Breathless.
Nice.
All right.
So yes, so we are here with John and Natalie from Sagrado Cigars. So guys, tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got into the cigar world and all that.
Go for it, John.
All right. So I've been smoking cigars my whole life, and got some Cuban friends in Florida. Got introduced to the whole process in Dominican Republic. Made a master cigar blender roller, and it has been about 3 years. And I'm a huge foodie. I saw the craft of the cigars, all the different intricacies, to the production and the art of it. And so that's what captured my heart. Got on the plane, left, and I just remember thinking, I want to do this. That's pretty much in a short version my story.
And my story is I've been working next door to our local cigar lounge. Well, I guess it was just a store for 25 years. And I used to go in there during my lunch break because, as you know, up in Canada, well, you would know being from New York, it's a little chilly in the winter. So I would go hang out at the lounge with the guys during my lunch hour, and we'd just sit and, they would smoke their cigars. And I didn't smoke cigars at the time, but we'd just chat and, one of those old guys still works there. So it's pretty cool. And then I met John, and lo and behold, here we are. Where'd you guys go? Is it the John and Nat show now? Are we taking over?
All right. We are the host with the mostest.
Oh, no. We can't hear you.
It's I guess it's moot to us.
Yeah. I love technology. Can't
It's the best.
Right.
I think they're back.
Can't hear you. I hope it's good.
They're holding our cigars. I think they're talking.
Okay, so let's just lip read. Oh, that's Breathless. I wonder if...
There they are.
There we go.
Oh, hi.
Hey, all right. We were hosting your show for you.
Our own show.
So John,
The John and Nat Show.
this cigar I'm smoking right now. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, well, right now I'm smoking a cigar that's not even out yet. It's a full body. It's a Nicaraguan. In fact, I had Danny from 505 yesterday. I'm very fortunate that he's so close. And then we had Ryan from Rocky Mountain Cigar Show over here. So we were trying out, testing, and I was getting feedback on this cigar versus another version of it. So that's what I'm smoking today.
But to answer
Okay,
your
and
question, you're smoking the Breathless, which is our newest and greatest cigar. Oh, man, you're muted again.
I think they're breathless.
I see they're muted. I think they're voiceless.
Here we go.
There they are.
Okay, so tell us, is this long filler, short filler?
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's a
Breathless.
long filler cigar.
Okay.
It's a Habano 2000 wrapper, Sumatra binder, and it's our very first Nicaraguan filler cigar.
Nice little spice to it. Little bit of a spice, very good. So, Natalie,
There's a story.
You said you haven't been smoking.
He's got a story for this
Oh,
cigar.
go ahead. Tell us the story.
So, every good cigar's got a good story. Don't you guys agree?
We're still here. We're just putting the focus on.
Okay. So Breathless came about with Natalie and I. There's a little story there. So we were working on the cigar story December last year. And we were, I was working on the blending side of it with the factory. Natalie was a little bit involved with that as well. And then we were thinking about what's the theme of this cigar. And so just our relationship had been moving to a more serious level. And we became engaged in February. And so it wasn't much before that time that we want to come up with a romantic story with the cigar. So you see on the box, you see a rose, you see a hand, and it's basically like a proposal. And you'll see me silhouetted in the background as well, smoking a cigar. So that's really the story of it. It's a love story, romantic story with Natalie and myself.
So, that's very good, because you know what? You don't find many couples that find each other through cigars.
Yeah.
To get into the cigar world like you guys are. And my son was just telling me, he said he's seen something.
I had seen somebody post up something. I forget what the caption said, but it was something. It was you guys. It was a nice caption they put up, and I was like, oh, okay. And it just kind of like, I was like, interesting. And then I went, I'll have to look into. I was like, I have to ask her, figure it out. And then the more I started looking, I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, that makes sense now.
It's so funny because some people, it took them a while because we didn't really come out for, It's been a while, and then so people would ask before the podcast, like, hey, can I ask you a question? And like, they wouldn't know how to go. So yeah.
We came out of the closet.
We came out.
Well, hey, listen, see, our podcast, everybody don't realize our podcast, we have no filters. That's why people love us. That's why.
What's a filter? I never heard of filters.
And so people say,
and that's why we're on the MB Radio on Roku right now, and the Northeast Streaming Sports
and Amazon.
We're on Roku and Amazon as well, live right now.
Oh, no way!
Right on.
Yes. So Natalie, you said you really didn't smoke cigars when you went to the lounge.
This is really good.
So how did you partake in starting to smoke cigars while you were at that lounge?
You know what? To be honest, I didn't really partake, but there was this fascination, right? Because I'm around all these old men. Let's face it, they were old. And sitting on the couch, and they're smoking inside. Can you imagine smoking inside? So it was like just this fascination, and the smells and whatever. It was like almost this romantic thing,
Oh.
The old man with the mustache curl.
With the handlebars.
The
handlebars. Yeah.
So, it was cool. And you know what? We go there now, and like they've totally renovated this place. It's the only place in this whole city that you can smoke inside, still to this day. And one of the only places in the country, as a matter of fact, that you can smoke inside. And it's still this romantic place. And now it's nostalgic for me because like 25 years I've been going there. So yeah, it's cool. And now I'll smoke cigars in there now that I smoke cigars. Now I can partake with the old men and the handlebars.
Now let me ask you guys this, because I always ask this question. Being that you guys have your own cigars out, do you partake in most of your cigars, or do you purchase other ones and smoke other cigars?
Oh, what you want to answer that, John?
Absolutely. So both of us smoke our cigars. Both of us smoke other cigars. If you don't smoke other cigars, you get a very boring, stale palate. And so the only way for your palate, just like food, if you're eating the same thing all the time, if you go out and have a McDonald's burger or whatever you're having, you don't really realize what a steak tastes like, or lobster tastes like, or other things taste like. And with us, we experiment quite a bit, and we talk about, we exchange our comments on notes and construction, and we learn the most from smoking other cigars.
Yeah, I've got a few boxes of other cigars here, so yeah, it's not all about Sagrado. Like John said, it's nice to get a variety.
And that's good because I know someone, I'm not putting his name out there, but he only smokes his cigars. And if you ask him to smoke somebody else's, he goes, "Why? I make my own." I'm like, but don't you get bored? And I'm a big La Gloria Cubana guy. I love my Gloria Cubanas. I know Michael
Sure.
Tini well. And listen, my son will tell you, when I get tired of a cigar, it'll sit in my humidor for 4 or 5 months, and then I'm like, oh shit, I forgot I had this.
Well, that's like, but that's like you get ones out of your everyday cigars, like the one I was smoking before. And I let them sit for a little while because I was smoking them, 1 or 2 a day because I like them. I let them sit for a week or two, stop smoking, and I go back to them.
So, John, maybe you can answer this question. So now, where in DR is your factory? The factory that you use?
Great question. So we work with actually 2 factories. And so the reason why do we work with 2 factories? The first factory is our foundational factory. Everything out of that factory is very, I would call it Cuban-esque. And so if you're familiar with Cuban-esque, in Dominican, the floral notes, a little bit lighter cigars. Cubans typically do not like a full body. And, everything was Dominican except for the wrappers would vary. Some, Sumatra from Ecuador, Connecticut, Ecuador, Sadres, from Mexico. And so the second factory is as a result of what we see with trends, what we've seen in cigar lounges. Definitely a lot of interest for Nicaragua. Nicaragua it's gotten very dominant. Where now, we're seeing a Dominican that it's making some good grounds. But the main reason was we wanted to have a New World style, and we couldn't quite get what we wanted out of the first factory. And so that's why we found this other factory that could produce a Nicaraguan cigar that was a medium plus, and the one I'm smoking now is a full body. And those were gaps that we had in our line. We wanted to have a full lineup that we could appease, a broader range of smokers. So that's what we've got the 2. Answering your question specifically, Tamboril and Villa Gonzalez, that's the 2 locations for our 2 factories.
Let me ask you this, because I've heard this mentioned a lot, and I know the meaning behind it, but there might not be a lot of people. When you had mentioned New World cigars, I know what I'm getting at. I know the question. I basically explain what that means to the people in, terms of like making cigars
in TV land,
because a lot of people don't understand the term between Old World and New World.
I'll give my definition. Cuba really is one of the originating countries when it comes to cigars, and the Cuban, as I described, lighter floral notes. You're not going to get that punch in the mouth. The Nicaraguan tobacco is a newer country in terms of the industry. However, they've become dominant because it's new. It's new. It's exciting. The tobacco is, I think, a little bit more flavorful, stronger. It's different. It's different than the Dominican. I can tell the difference instantly between a Dominican and Nicaraguan cigar just because the way that Nicaraguan tobacco tastes. And we're seeing more of the full body cigars, and which we see a lot of interest in full body, medium plus, and that's in my mind that's when I talk to people, that's more of the New World. And I already described the Old World. I don't know how you define it. That's how I see it.
I want to hear how you define it. I'm curious.
How I defined it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been smoking cigars a long time. Like John said, you have your Cuban risk, and then then you have it's hard because I'm not like really deep into that like you guys. But the thing is, you have your new cigars coming out, and I call them boutique cigars. A lot of them don't use the Cuban stuff like John does.
They don't use what you're getting at is not Cuban stuff. They don't use that old Cuban style.
Right. They don't use the old Cuban style.
They don't use that old world style of rolling, is what you're saying.
They use the New World style of rolling.
Uh-huh.
So I think you guys have a good thing going on. I'm going to tell you, this is a really great cigar. The Breathless. Also, John, I have a question. So how many full body, because I'm a full body guy, how many full body Maduro or dark cigars do you have?
That's a good question. And just to be clear, a Maduro doesn't necessarily mean it's full body. That's definitely, it's a misconception. Our particular Maduro is not a full body. I'd say it's a medium, and you liking a full body, you might consider a medium minus. It's also very Cuban-esque, but it has a San Andres Maduro wrapper on it, which gives it that cocoa, type of flavor.
Okay.
And then
So
we've got a full body coming out. When is it? January?
Yeah, we're looking with Q1. I mean, here's the thing, and Natalie, we kind of laugh about due dates. There's no such thing as time and due dates when you're looking at the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua, countries.
Right.
Natalie, I've seen that everything is always later than what we want, and so we have our due dates, and then they have their due dates, which is whenever it's ready, right?
Oh, it's
I talked to other brand owners, and they have the same thing, the same frustrations, same thing with the boxes, the rings, everything is if you figure
I know
2 to 3 months later
in DR it's a wait.
Oh,
it's a wait.
Brand owners, and they're like, they're like, dude, I'm waiting on boxes for like 6 months.
Because we're friends with.
They're like,
Ish.
my stuff is ready to go, and I'm still waiting on boxes. I'm
Yeah.
like,
we're friends with Ish. I talk to Ish every day. We're friends.
Oh yeah, love Ish. Yeah.
We're friends with Michael Giannini. So we have a lot of these friends, and they tell us all of this. And we've met them. Joey's worked in the industry for like a year with another cigar company, but I became friends with all of these guys by just going to events, and I don't know if you guys know Matty Rocks. He works for Drew Estate. He's Drew Estate's best friend. You probably seen him if you went to PCA. He always wears the big outfits, like the money signs and things like that. Mm-hmm. He's always got the big beard. So he's a very dear friend of mine, one of my best friends in the business. And the thing is, when you're in the business this long and you're just smoking cigars, and then you meet everybody, and like right now, we done this podcast. We wanted to do it before COVID hit, and then COVID hit, and we hooked up with MBR Radio. We used to be on at 7:00 in the morning. It used to be hard to get guests because nobody can come on at 7 a.m. Who's going to wake up at 7 a.m. to just do a podcast, smoke a cigar? Nobody.
Well, we're 2 hours behind you too.
Huh?
I'm 2 hours behind you. Natalie's 1 hour behind you.
Yeah, so so it's very early in the morning for you guys. So then when Northeast Streaming Network called us and said, we want you guys on Roku, and I said, what's the time limit? And they were like 11 to 12:30. I said, we'll take it. I said, and now, we've been doing this almost a year, and since we started last year, we were booked from September of last year up until January of last year of 2024, and our first guest for the new year was Ish. We had to go meet him. We went and met Ish in JB Cigar Lounge in Jersey, and he was the first one to roll his cigars on our show, and that's where everything happened right after that. And we owe it to Ish and MBR Radio, because without them, listen, we did not think that our podcast would be where we are today. We're the only podcast that talks about wrestling and cigars. And a lot of people like that because, how long can you sit on a podcast? And I'm sure everybody's done it. You can't sit on a podcast for an hour and a half to talk about a cigar. It's totally impossible. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we did this with my background, and then my son being in the business and me smoking cigars and so forth and so on. So, Joe, I need your help with the break. So, because he's the producer. I'm not how do you call it? I'm not
technologically. Yeah.
Say it again. Technically, yeah.
I know what you're getting at.
So, guys, we're gonna take a break, and we got to pay the bills, and we will be right back with Natalie and John, and we'll see you in a few minutes. I don't know which one you're putting on.
I was broken for a while, a drop of blood for every mile I'm on. I took all that they gave and lived to fight another day. But if today is all I get, I'll make my mark and you can bet that I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, I can't change the past, but I can change how the story turns. 'Cause it's not mistakes that make us, but the lessons learned. Because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, and even if I fall, I'll get back up, standing tall again, with a medal on my chest. God knows I've done my best, because what doesn't kill me will make me stronger in the end. And I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life, and I'll never surrender. On this life,
Hey, there we are. We're back, guys. What's up? How you guys doing?
And what
See,
is
look,
this?
we're back.
What podcast is this?
Man, if they're already watching, I don't have to tell them. They
It's
know.
their favorite podcast.
But they already know. I don't have to
No,
tell
but it's
them.
their favorite podcast.
If they're watching, obviously it's
And
their
where can
favorite
they get our
podcast.
merchandise?
In the show notes, it's linked.
And what's the one you're wearing?
This is my hat.
And what is it?
That's my Vanilla Gorilla camouflage hat that you guys can order on the merchandise store, pinned in the show notes below. You guys can go there and order all your official Turnbuckles merchandise.
And John, just so you know, we even have an apron.
I have aprons
that Natalie could wear with our face on it.
I have aprons, hats, stickers, mugs, t-shirts, mouse pads, laptop bags, duffel bags, track suits. I have a bandana for your dog. I have a stuffed animal with a shirt on it with my face on it. Let's see, what else do I have? I got everything.
Nice.
I got winter clothes.
So John, Joey,
there he is.
What do
wait. Come on, comment. Serious. Hey, there we go. What's up, Coop?
So I think what we're gonna ask now is,
I guess the next question I'm gonna ask for the people that are just tuning in, how many lines do you have? Like, how many different cigars under your brand do you have?
Now it's at 9? I think it's 9 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 9.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and we've got a variety of we've got the Connecticut, the Maduro, the 6, right? So, yeah, we keep growing.
Sumatras.
Yeah, we've got it all. We've even got, I don't know if you've ever seen, but we've got the little fajitos. They're what, a 6x38. And
yes, I did smoke one of those when yeah, I think actually, John, you had sent me a pack, I think, during COVID. You had sent me a pack of your cigars to try.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was
I did.
It was the Charismatico, the Connecticut one, the little Fito, which was actually really good.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, people like that.
It's a dog walker.
Yeah, it's a quick 20.
I was gonna say it's good for, like a lunch break or a quick smoke break at work if you don't have time.
Yeah.
Or you just want to take it out and go to work and kill time. I mean, we've all been there. I mean, I might do that a time or two.
I mean, I do that all the time. I work for the government, so it doesn't matter.
I might do that at work. I mean, I'm just saying.
Once in a while.
So, John, let me ask you, how many shops are you in, and where can people find them in New York and New Jersey?
That's a great question. Nelly, do you know the answer to how many shops we've got? I think I think we're like, what are we at 55 right now? Something like that.
Yeah, we're about that across the country. Okay. And we're all over Canada. As far as New York and New Jersey, we've got a couple in New Jersey. So you know what? We're a 2-man show, right? So it's the two of us pounding the pavement. We each have our territories. So, we work our territories hard, and then we just, we might pepper some in here and there through word of mouth or whatever. So it's a marathon.
Well, I'd like to also add to that. We're right now we're interviewing a rep for the Northeast, and just if there's other reps on this podcast, we're definitely looking for reps around the nation and strategic areas. So we're looking to be able to expand our capabilities.
We try to help guys out. We try to help everyone out because we're always traveling to different lounges, and all the lounges we go to, we frequent. So they're always looking to bring in new people. So,
or at least open to trying,
try new cigars. So, like Fuerte Libre just sent us some sample packs because we go to Hudson Cigar Lounge in Hudson, New York. We go to
Cigar World in
Ramsey. We go to Kevin's Buttheads in Connecticut. We go to Yonkers because I'm from Yonkers, so we go there. We go to Rockland County. So if you guys ever want, just throw a little sample pack together for each store, and we just go in and we hand it to them and say, "Hey, listen, we had them on our podcast."
Because I worked as a sales director, was my official title for a company that I worked for.
Beautiful.
And it was okay. It was all right. I didn't mind it. but you know, we separated ways, and you know, where we're at now is kind of like we've been told from numerous different people is where we're brokers without being, you know, officially brokers, so to say, because we help, you know, our friends who have companies that want to get into different shops. We kind of, you know, if we have one, listen, try this, smoke this. You know, we're not brokers because I always say we don't keep the merchandise on hand.
We don't have merchandise.
Which I'm quite all right with that because that's less of a headache for me. I'm like, I give you the cigar, I'll give you the contact information, I'll make the connection, you go from there.
And if, like, you tell them, if you don't want to deal with the person directly, deal with us. And if you want to place an order, we'll sit with you, we'll make the phone call, you place the order, and you're on your way.
I've offered, you know, some of the shops want to deal with us because of the rapport that I've built with them working for certain companies. So, you know, like I've always said to certain people that we work with, like, listen, if they want me to be the rep, I don't mind, but it's going to be, I pick and choose the stores I work with.
Right.
Sounds good.
You know,
I'm
like,
down.
I'm not going to be a rep for all of your stores. Or if it's the ones that I helped you get in, those are the stores that I'm going to be a rep for if they only want to deal with me. I said, if they'd rather deal with the owner, hey, listen, you can have fun and you can deal with them. That's fine. If you can't make it and you want me to go, that, you know, I'll go and do the event for you, whatever.
You know, like there's a company that wants to do cuts. They want to do a cut and light, and they want us to be there. And I'm like, okay, I'm game with that. And I'm like, cool. I said,
hell yeah,
we'll come and do the cut and light for, you know, just send us the stuff. We'll do the cut and light. You know, we'll do whatever you want.
It sounds great.
That's amazing. Wow. You're hired.
You know, like, you know, Natalie, it's like I say to people,
damn, my hands are getting cold now.
Our podcast has helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like Joey was on with TPA. I don't know if you heard of TPA, John.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's new.
With Ish and them guys.
They just started that, eh?
Ish and
yes. So I was on the HERF with them, and it was me, Ish, Ronnie from the Great Lakes, Kathy, Cigar Box Marketing, GTO, and Evil Empire. You know, a lot of the guys that I know, you know, that I've done their show or I've talked to them. And, you know, I've always told people, and you guys know this, you know, you never know who's paying attention to you
and I found
or
out
watching you.
That's true.
Until they tell you. I was sitting there and I was talking and just listening, and Oscar from GTO popped on, and I had our logo in the background because I was sitting outside, and he popped on. He goes, I just want to say, you know, Mr. Turnbuckles, I'm a fan. And I was like, wow. I'm like, that's, you know, that's insane to think, like, he watches a show, and I'm like, you never know who's watching or who's paying attention or who's keeping an eye on you when they come out and tell you. I said, and they may never tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
I said, but he just happened to have that opportunity, and he took it.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, we were at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show recently, and out in Colorado, great show to come out to an event. And I remember a guy walking up, and Natalie, I'll pronounce this for you, Wolf Pack.
Wolf.
Wolf. So, anyways, and again, he came up and he recognized us, you know, and that was great. And we're actually on Wolfpack on this Wednesday.
Do you know?
Is that the Wolfpack Cigar Club?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, down Florida.
I know those guys very well.
Who was the guy that came over to you?
I was one of the original members of that club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so was I.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So was I.
I don't remember who it was though that came up to us.
I don't know his name.
The Rocky Mountain. It was so crazy. You know,
So you went to the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the fest, right? That's right.
So then you had to see Matty Rocks.
He was in the Drew Estate.
He was in the Drew Estate booth. He had the beard, the hat,
the
sunglasses.
He had on a crazy outfit.
Probably had on a crazy outfit.
And I misspoke. The Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. That's Ryan Miller. That's on here today. Yeah. So Yeah, the fest. So no offense to Ryan, great guy.
Ryan used to be with Danny, 505, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yes,
Danny.
yes.
Danny's
The dynamic duo.
October 13th, Danny's going to be on our show.
Danny's coming on October 13th.
Yeah, he told me yesterday.
So people don't realize me and Danny, we have a love relationship. When I say love, like he'll be on his thing on Facebook, and I'll pop in and he goes, "Hello, window liquor," and I'm like, "Hello, syrup liquor," and people go, "Seriously?" That's the relationship that we grew into.
That's great.
Sweetheart. I love seeing Danny and Ryan together. They were so cute. I mean, poor Ryan. But at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, they just walk around with their backpacks, the two of them.
Like listen, two little kids waiting to get on a special bus.
Well, you know what they were doing? They were packing the backpacks full of cigars, and then they'd go to the car, unload, come back with the backpacks, and load them up again.
Absolutely. There's no other way to do it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I want to comment. So the last video you guys had, I really appreciate. I served in the Marine Corps, and so one thing that's unique about our business is one, we're veteran owned, and then we're also Natalie is also an owner in the company, so we're also black owned. So we're veteran black owned, and I don't know of a whole lot of cigar brands that have that combination.
Our producer, Military Brand Radio.
Yes, our radio station
owned.
We're a part of in Colorado, which is where we're live now, and and on their Roku channel is a veteran-owned station.
Yes,
and they help veterans and first responders and a lot of podcast network.
It's called MBR Radio.
Besides us, who are really who haven't really served in
the
military, but a lot of my family
my brother, did. My uncle, my grandpa. Right. And I'm also a former first responder. I was down at 9/11, and that's how I got BR Radio.
And 90. Besides, I really say besides us,
the thing is,
their whole network is a lot of veteran-owned podcasts.
And and the thing is, like people don't realize, I was down at 9/11 when it happened. Good. My son was in school. I had just got home from work. I had just gotten to bed. My mother-in-law was living with us, God rest her soul. I just got into bed. Next thing I know, my door got kicked open. She goes, "Look at this." And all of a sudden, she put the TV on. I'm like, "What fucking movie is this?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Asshole." She goes, "Asshole, that's not a movie, asshole." I said, "What do you mean?"
That's happening now.
That's happening now. All of a sudden, my pager goes, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
I loaded up my truck. I didn't see my family for 3 months.
Well, you did, but you were home.
I'll never forget it.
I went to work. I went down to 9/11, came home, went to work, went down to 9/11, came home, went to work. And finally, my boss said to me, he goes, "You need to go see a psychiatrist." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because you've been," I said, "Listen, if I ain't seen a psychiatrist in 20 years working for the post office, I'm not going to see one now." I'm not going to see one now.
Oh, I never forget seeing the second airplane hit, and I thought it was a replay. I couldn't believe that there's 2 airplanes, and then next thing I know, I see the Pentagon on fire. I was like, "What the hell? Are we at war?"
And you know what, John? The thing is, my wife's aunt, her husband used to work down on Wall Street, and when
he worked, I think like 2 buildings away from the Trade Center.
Seen the planes hit. He's seen the planes hit. And he was like, "Everybody get out, get out." We did not hear from him. We did not hear from him for like hours and hours and hours. So they called me. They tried to call me and they couldn't get me because remember, all the phone lines and everything were down.
Yeah.
So my grandma lived in between where we live and New York City. So I pulled up into my grandma's parking lot at like 2:00 in the morning and I just fell asleep in the car. So she came out.
Well, no, she called mom.
She called my wife and goes, "Is Dave okay?" She goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "He's sleeping in the driveway." She goes, "Grandma."
She said, "Just leave him." She's like, "But I want to bring him in and feed him and wash his clothes." She's like, "Just leave him alone. When he gets up, he'll come inside."
And to this day, like when 9/11 hits, I leave my job and I go to, and my son will tell you, I go to every service that they have in Dutchess
or at
County
least the
where
ones
I
you
live.
Can make.
And the thing is, when I first started going, I used to be on a radio station up here, and the guy that runs the OEM up here, I'll sit in the crowd, and I won't have nothing on, 9/11, nothing. I'll just be sitting there. And he goes, "We'd like to thank Big Dog, my friend." And I'm like, "Bill, stop." I said, "I'm not a hero." I said, "I'm just an American guy that went down to help people do what they got to do."
That's right.
That's all. I'm not a hero. If I was,
That's right.
You just can't, put what happened. You can't, it's been 23 years and you cannot, you can never, ever forget it. You know what I mean?
No, I like what you just said about being American. And, I consider myself a patriot serving, and I'm a very proud American. And I get so sick and tired of the politics in our country. It's like, we're all Americans, damn it. Let's just stop this bullshit of, the politics. John. We're Americans.
And that's kind of where we try to give everybody an escape from that with this podcast, right? Because we don't bring up politics. We don't bring up anything like that, because when you're here, what up? We want you guys to come here and be able to, enjoy yourself and get a break from all of the reality. And that's what
absolutely.
We try to give you.
But John, I am going to tell you,
I'm enjoying this.
This Breathless takes my breath away. And maybe it's because you have your beautiful fiance on here with us.
Well, I'm sure that's part of it.
Wait. So John,
she takes my breath away.
So let me ask you this, Natalie. Do you ever listen to freestyle music?
Freestyle? Like
like Judy Torres and TKA and them guys?
No.
Well,
I'm a country girl.
So am I.
You're a girl? Wow.
You're a country girl too?
Wow. Hey, girl. I appreciate you letting everybody know that.
You need to look up Judy Torres.
Okay.
Your face and your hair looks just like her. She's a good friend of mine.
Oh, really?
Judy Torres. You need to look her up.
Hey, I'll check it out.
You need to look her up.
Come back outside.
But yeah, so I am a country guy. I love country music.
Wait, I thought you were a girl.
Well, same thing.
Just making sure.
What is that? He, they, we, absolutely.
Oh, I know.
Tomorrow,
I don't know.
yesterday.
We're not even going to get into that.
No, but I'm just saying.
No, we're not going to get into that.
So anyway. But no, John, I got to say, this cigar.
This is fantastic.
I'm enjoying this.
Beautiful.
Let me tell you, man. I cannot wait to try.
And what I like
some of your other cigars and some of your other lines. If you guys come back on, or you want us to
absolutely,
or whatever.
Yeah.
We're willing to do it. You have our address. Just shoot us a thing, because we're gonna start doing reviews. We just haven't had time, because when we try to do reviews, we're either recording a show.
Yeah, we're
either traveling.
We've been busy doing a lot of recording of episodes.
We recorded Ventura,
5 or 6 hours of banked up episodes in the bank
Ventura
to air whenever we need to.
Michael Giannini, we're recording Rick Rodriguez.
I got to talk to Rick.
I mean, we got so much stuff going on that people say, you guys, we're always like, my wife goes, where you guys going this weekend? And God rest my soul, we didn't go anywhere yesterday. And I was like, man, I could just lay on a couch and go to sleep. And that's what I did.
Yeah, good for you.
Question I got for you guys. Are you guys retrohaling these cigars?
Yes.
It's a retro dream, and this new one that I've got, it's a retro dream. And if you're not retroing it, you're missing out probably 70% of the beauty of that cigar.
It's funny you say that, because I started smoking when I was 18, and it took me up until, I want to say maybe a year or a year and a half ago, for me to be able to do a retro hail.
Now you got to tell them what cigar you taste.
Well, no, hold on. So, it took me a while to be able to do that. And then once I was able to do that, I realized what I was missing out on a lot of the cigars, because I wasn't getting that however many taste buds they say that are in your nose, I wasn't getting any of that.
Yes, that's right.
And now that I've been able to do that, it's changed kind of the experience for me.
Absolutely.
I didn't
I'm
learn
glad you guys are doing it.
about a year ago, was it, John? I learned
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
on a show, on a show live. I learned how
There
to
you go. I think that's what I think I did it on an Instagram live was how I learned how to do it.
So ask Joey, what was the first cigar he ever smoked that I took him to the lounge and he wanted a cigar?
The first cigar he ever gave me was, or he ever bought me, was an Acid Blondie.
Oh my God.
It wasn't. I'm not gonna say it was bad because it really wasn't terrible. The only thing I didn't like was the strong scent it had.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what's funny about these acid and these deadwoods? I'm a Harley rider. I love premium cigars, and you would expect to think that Harley riders like full body cigars, fat ass cigars, but now most Harley riders are smoking acids and deadwoods. And I'm like, what the hell?
The deadwoods I actually enjoy. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the deadwoods because it's a change of pace from what I'm normally smoking.
Yes.
Like I'll smoke deadwoods, I'll smoke the tobaccos.
Tobacco is a good coffee smoke.
I like the coffee cigars, and that kind of stuff every once in a while because it just changes the pace of always smoking a full body or a Habano wrapper or something. You're getting something different.
Yeah.
Well, you are. And they got those pipe-filled tobaccos as well.
Yes.
So now, John, let me ask you this. So you geez Louise, I just had the question. So you say that you're a Harley rider, you like that. So let me ask you, what was your very first cigar you ever smoked that got you into the cigar world?
Oh, geez. It was probably the Three Kings or whatever, the Three Musketeers. I can't remember what it's called. It was it was a cigar you could buy at like a Thrifty's drugstore. Yeah, I'm not sure if they had those in the East Coast. They had those in California where I was born and raised. And I think I graduated up to a Griffin, and then I was graduating up to Fuentes, and I had this journey that, really it took its course.
And what was your first cigar, Natalie?
I think my first cigar would have been a Sagrado a few years ago.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. The first memorable cigar, anyway. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
I mean, there are quite a few cigars out there that I've smoked that were less than memorable and very under par and not stellar, but that's just
right.
Well, with some people, it's a blood, right?
So, John, let me ask you this, John. So we've had this conversation with many other people. So if you have a Cohiba, right? Let's say in New York, it's a $65 cigar. And then I go and I buy your cigar. Let's say your cigar in New York is $10 to $12. I would put your cigar up against a Cohiba any day of the week.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that there's people that like the Cohibas, whether it's Cuban or the Red Dot,
Right.
I'm not going to disparage, another brand. I'd say that our cigars, they stand up pretty well.
I think what he's getting at is, basically, there's a lot of people that say,
oh, you're smoking a $10 cigar.
They don't like anything below $50. I said, but
basically,
what he's getting at is if you took the labels off and put your cigar against a Cohiba, nobody's going to be able to tell the difference.
It's going to stand up. It's going to stand up.
They're going to pick the, as I call it, the not as expensive cigar, because I don't want to say cheap because it kind of downplays the cigar.
Right.
It makes it sound like it's not good, where a lot of times those $10, $12, $15 cigars are better than those 30, 35, 40 and up cigars because they're blended more for the flavor and the quality rather than the quantity of how many they can put out and sell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got a couple examples that, again, Natalie, she experiences something in Canada. So if you want to smoke an expensive cigar, go to Canada. It's the same cigars we get in the States.
It could be,
you know?
Deadwood, and you're smoking an expensive cigar up in Canada.
Yeah,
it's true.
Up there,
Here's-
range between $23 and $25 a stick. So we've got 130
Yeah.
tax up here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Another example I give, if you're talking about bang for buck, where's the point of diminishing returns? I love wine, and I asked a sommelier, and I asked, I said, hey, at what point in time is the point of diminishing return on wine? There's bottles that are $350, $700, etc. They told me, really, the most expensive wine bottle you should ever buy is $250. Everything below that, you're going to get quality under $100 as well, and in a lot of cases under $50. So it's the same thing with cigars.
What's your price range on your boxes? And I don't know if you sell bundles, your bundles and all of that. What's your price ranges?
Well, retail depends on the state, to be honest with you, because of the taxes. I can tell you what the cigar itself goes for in stores and break it down, which a lot of people, they're buying singles and whatnot. So it just makes it a little bit easier. Our cigar range is anywhere from $9 to $15 on average.
I'll dispute
And a box
that. It's actually $5.
Oh, we got the $5 cigar. Yeah, worthless. Worthless with a bunch of cigar.
Well, we have Worthless and the fajitos. Those are depending on the state too.
Yeah, that's true. Those two, the dog walkers, of course.
So now let me ask you what a box would go for. Do you have a website?
We do have a website that does have MSRP on those.
And
So
what's the price tag on those?
You know what? Get the real price because our website just has the MSRP. Go to Zeal Cigars. Who else? Luxury Cigars. They sell us. There's a few online,
Okay.
that sell us. But Zeal, I think they've got our whole lineup.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd say somewhere between $250 and $350 is where you're seeing a range on boxes.
What do you get? 20 in a pack or
20, except for
Okay.
Faith, which is 25.
there's also a place in Ohio that all you guys use from Canada. I forget it's a husband and wife store that everybody orders from Canada, and she ships it to you guys. I forget the name of her, but when Greg was on with us last week, he gave us the name, and I don't remember the name, but
what?
Cigars and Bourbon in Canada, he orders from her a lot. The place in Ohio.
Oh, B&G.
No shit.
B&G.
I have to get the name. I'll message
It's,
me when you get the name.
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
get it. I'll double check with him and make sure that that's the place. But he said that place ships too. If you call them and order,
Yeah.
that place will ship.
That's great. That'd be great for Sagrado as well.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
'Cause you know
that's
what?
why. You know what? That's why I put it out there, because you know what? Cigars and Bourbon orders from them a lot, and he goes, it's right there. However close Ohio is to you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a wrestling show in Canada, well, on a borderline at the Golden Dome, right there, and I actually went across to Canada and went into a bar, and
Windsor,
then turned around and walked back out. Yeah.
Windsor, probably
So-
Ontario.
Yeah, so it was.
Was that before or after you guys stole the cases of beer
I have
outside
no
the
idea
bar?
what you're talking about. The beer was sitting outside by the dumpster. I thought it was
Lost and found.
I'm back in
It
the
was
country.
garbage.
Lost and found.
Listen, we went outside and there was beer by the dumpster. So what do? I was like, yo, bro, there's 6 of us. If we each grab like 2 cases, we'll have beer for the weekend. So we all grabbed 2 cases and went back to the hotel room.
That's heaven.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
That's heaven.
Bud Light, Bud Light, Bud Light for $10.
I love my Bud Light.
Oh, do you?
The whole
Hey, listen,
I'm used to it.
listen, nothing wrong with a Bud Light. So do you drink whiskey at all?
No,
No.
I can't.
Right
Son, do
here,
you drink
right here.
whiskey? What do you drink, John?
Both of us.
I drink Scotch whiskey. I drink different ryes. I drink bourbon.
So
One
now, John,
Scotch, one
what
bourbon,
is
and one
your-
beer. You know what I mean?
What is your next cigar that
one that he's smoking now.
I know. Do you have a name for that cigar yet?
Ooh.
We do.
No, we don't.
It's
Okay,
not released.
No,
It's not released yet.
okay.
It's still up for debate.
Okay.
She doesn't like my name.
I don't like the name.
Listen. What do they say? Happy wife, happy life, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I know, absolutely.
It's called Natalie, but whatever.
You know what's fun? Natalie, why don't you talk about the Canada rules that you have to deal with up in Canada to even purchase a damn cigar?
Yeah, do you guys ever come up? No, well, you're not allowed back in the country, so all right, let me tell you. So our cigars, I had one here on the counter the other day. So our cigars have to have, like, you've got the band, right? We have
I do know that they have to have a certain band.
Yeah, we have to cover the band. They call it plain packaging. And so every band, for every cigar, every brand, it has to have the same brown label or band, and it has the same font. Our humidors can't have boxes. It's bundles only. And to go to humidor in Canada, you can't go alone. You have to go with whatever associate who works there. So even now, when I go to the States, I'm always asking if I can go in their humidor, and they're like, "What the fuck? Just go."
Yeah.
It's so different. And like I said, the lounge here where I live is one of the 2, I think, of the whole country that you can smoke in. It's like, it sucks here. And then the 130% tax.
That's double what we pay.
If I came to, let's say I came to Canada, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to buy some of your cigars and bring them back, I'd have to have a certain band on the cigars to bring them back?
No.
The store has to have a certain band to sell it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what they
And then
do,
obviously a band beyond it to bring it back.
John's joke is, how to make a Canadian cry is to not have the company band under it. So what people do, they go to the humidor, they buy the cigar, they take that ugly plain packaging off, and they're hoping to see the company's actual band underneath.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. So, and to get cigars up in Canada to sell, it's a shit show. Because when you think about it, we're competing with Cubans, we're competing with the top dogs, right? Because of the price range. So it's a tough gig up here. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm looking at the video here. My arms, they look like they're dirty. I got very hairy arms.
look like you got a sleeve tan there hanging out the window like this.
Yeah, it's funny. I was at a market one time, this years ago, and I was walking down the lane pushing a cart. And this one lady, she stops and she's like looking at my legs. I'm wearing short pants, just staring at my legs. I'm thinking, oh, she thinks I got sexy legs. And she stops, she starts laughing. She said, I'm so sorry. I thought your legs were dirty.
I said I got sexy legs. My man, shout out to my man John. Sounds like me.
So let me ask you this, because this is something I ask all the owners that we have on. When people order from you, whether at shops and stuff, do you have like a minimum order requirement, or do they have to order? Can they order one box? Does it have to be one of each facing? The however many lines you have, at least one of each.
Good question.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good question. So we're talking about opening stores up. We typically like a store to have at least 3 to 5 lines or facings on it, because honestly, if you have a single box, it makes it look, the appearances, we have a single box and we're like, the little poor orphans or something. And so to do it properly, at least 3 to 5 lines. We've had stores that do, all the lines, but we like it like that. A single box, again, we can sell a single box, but between freight and effort and whatnot, it's not worth everyone's time.
No, and we're learning, right? Like I had a store in Atlanta. This guy bought 1 box of fajitos. Like it wasn't worth me getting out of bed, you know? So, you know, but that was in the beginning when we didn't know any better. It was like, oh, yay, I sold a box of fajitos. Like I just made $2. So yeah, now we've gotten smarter, and yeah, we're doing it better.
So are you guys going to PCA this year in Vegas?
Actually, it's the New Orleans next year.
I mean, New Orleans. Sorry, New Orleans.
We're not sure. We're not sure. I thought also we get lost in PCA with all the big boys. We find that, you know, we've got you know, Padron and Fuente and all the big companies up front. By the time they get to us, they say, "So sorry, my credit card's maxed out." You know, that's what we deal with as a small boutique.
You know, we went not this past year, but the year before, and we were with the BCA. So our pavilion was right at the back beside the shitty pizza. So no one was going back there anyway. The pizza sucked and all their money was spent. So no one came to see us. So it's too hard for a small company, right? Like John said, everyone has spent their money after they've hit the big guys. So
yeah. Well, you know, we were supposed to go to PCA with Ish last year, and then something happened with my wife, and I couldn't make it. So this year we're gonna go. We're gonna go to PCA, and obviously my daughter's turning 18, so she's like, "Oh, you're going to New Orleans this year?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, make sure you book 4 airlines." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Me and Mom are coming." I was like, "Yeah, but me and Joey's we're gonna be in the cigar world." She goes, "That's okay. I can go to Bourbon Street." I'm like, I better not see no beads. I better not see no beads.
On your daughter or your wife?
My daughter. My wife, hey, listen, I've been with her. I've been with my wife 30 years. I've been with my wife 30 years.
Wow.
So I've been with her since she's 17 years old.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so, everybody's looking forward to us coming there, and like I said, our podcast, it has put us out there. And like Joey said, and, you never know who's watching. And actually people hit us up on our Turnbuckles and Stogies email and like, "Oh, we want to come on." And I'm like, "Well, we have this date." And they're like, "Can we record it?" Like we just recorded Tony Barrios from Stallone. And he's a cool dude to have on, man. And we just recorded him. We recorded Ventura. We're doing Rick Rodriguez. Yeah. We got Blackbird coming on Tuesday.
Right on.
For them. So, so everybody's hitting us up. And, we're going to do a giveaway. We just haven't decided on
because we've already passed our 1-year anniversary.
We have so many ashtrays, lighters, cutters. My wife goes, "Are you going to get rid of this shit?" We have humidors stacked in the house. We have boxes of humidors. We have boxes of lighters, boxes of cutters.
Because I get a lot. I used to get a lot of stuff from these companies for free.
Oh, wow.
Like they would just, "Oh, we want you to check our lighters out." Okay, yeah, sure. Send them to me. Here's my address.
Wow. We need to.
We want to thank you for coming on because it's our winding down time. So, guys, I take my hat off to you, John, Natalie.
Thank you much. Thank you.
Engagement.
Thank you.
I hope your wedding is going to be fantastic. And I hope you're going to have a cigar roller there, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun. Hey, but wait. I haven't told you my Stone Cold story.
Oh, tell me your Stone Cold story. Go ahead.
Okay. So I went to it was WWF at the time. So I went to wrestling. I was on the floor, and you know how he did his thing with the Coors Light. I was a Coors Light drinker back then, so he was my hero. So he did his thing. He got a can. They tossed him a can. He got the can, and then he looked, and then he did a double take at me. It wasn't 10,000 people behind me. It was me he was looking at, and then he winked at me.
Oh, shit.
True story.
Oh, shit. John, you better watch out, John. John, you better watch out because Stone Cold likes to steal women.
Oh, well, you know what? Ask Natalie since we've been together, how many wrestling events that she's been to.
Okay.
I'm not stupid. Come on.
Oh, shit. Well, thank you so much, guys. It was fun. Thank you. It was a good time.
Guys, thank you.
Absolutely.
Listen, John, if you ever want to come back on, or you ever want us to taste test it, please let us know. You have our email, you have our stuff, and we want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your Sunday. And thank you. This cigar is awesome. I'm gonna fucking go buy some wherever I can find them.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about repping.
You guys as consumers?
Huh? What?
Say what?
I heard him.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about repping here.
I heard what he said.
Sounds good.
Let's talk about repping.
So let us sign off. Don't go nowhere.
Hey.
John, don't go nowhere. Natalie, don't go nowhere. We're gonna sign off. We're gonna put you in the green room, and we'll be right back.
Beautiful.
Right on.
Guys,
what is wrong with this? There we go.
Guys, this has been another episode of Turnbuckles and Stogies Sunday Fun Day. Don't forget today, Giants at 1 o'clock against Minnesota Vikings. Check us out, Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod. You have been here with the big dog, the Vanilla Gorilla, John Sagrado, and Natalie from Sagrado Cigars. Make sure you go on and find them where.
Attention, all troops. Are you ready to stay connected with the latest news, entertainment, and information tailored for our armed services? Look no further than MBR.
Here at MBR, we're more than just a radio station. We're a lifeline for those who serve from the front lines to the home front. We're here to keep you informed, entertained, and connected to your fellow veterans.
With our dedicated team of broadcasters, we bring exclusive interviews with military leaders, insights into the latest strategies and technologies, and uplifting stories of bravery and sacrifice.
But that's not all. MBR is a nonprofit organization, meaning that every dollar you donate goes directly towards supporting our troops and their families, whether it's providing care packages, funding, scholarships, or offering mental health resources. Your support makes a difference.
With that, H-Train, can you tell me a little bit about how MBR got started?
Well, in 2005, Jim Butler created it so that he could keep contacts with all of his pals over in Iraq. And then when 2018 came, he decided that it was time for him to retire. He was going to close up the station. And because we've had so many former DJs since 2005, I mean, it was pretty inspiring. We have at least 5 veterans in every single state, at least. And, you know, it just brings us closer together. It creates a family, and it creates a family that we lost when we got back from Iraq. And
mind you that every show is manned by a veteran or a first responder. That's amazing. I love what MBR is doing here. I love being a DJ here as well. Talk to people who have been through situations similar to yours. You're not alone. That's what we do here on MBR.
yeah. And it's nice because if you're not having a radio day and you're just having a bad day,
or you don't have a face for radio, we just want to remind you that every show is manned by a veteran or a first responder. So if you've ever had a dog tag, you could be possibly on the show or create your own, as well as military dependents. Together, we'll stay strong. We stay informed. We stay connected. So visit our website and download our app today. MBR.
MBR, serving those who served while giving veterans a voice.
First heard of MBR through my classmate Cedric. We were going to school in Colorado Media School, and we'd worked on some projects there together, including making a podcast. And he told me he was interning here at the station and that they would give us a shot to put our show on the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.